be careful. Whoa, watch out.
Okay. That's what happens.
Yeah, you almost got your ass zapped.
Niente.
Okay, do it again. You can really smell that ozone.
Yeah, the ozone is good for you. It kills airborne bacteria and viruses. All right, the inside of this can be a blimp, lens-shaped blimp. Okay, with a microwave antenna in the skin of the blimp itself. The full wave bridge of each antenna segment is connected in series, where you can come up with something like 1,000,000 volts that will supply power to the needle points device, and all of this will weigh less than the helium that's inside to make it lift. It will, the whole thing will lift by helium alone, and then when you apply microwave power, it will go up even higher in the stratosphere. And then if you use the kind of, I say, conducting ring that lets the gas out the little holes. You can can rise all the way out to escape velocity from this planet with stored gas. Because the lower the atmospheric pressure is, the higher the ion AC velocity becomes. In a vacuum, it far exceeds chemical burn. In other words, this is capable of ground liftoff to interplanetary travel velocity. It's going straight up with a transmitted beam microwave to it.
Wow, so it's like a beam ship that could achieve escape velocity.
Escape velocity beam ship.
Using the AC ionic wave concept.
Yeah.
It's recording.
Okay. What I'm doing is I'm applying a DC high voltage to this part here, and you see it's attractive. But it's covered with insulation where the electrons cannot get to the high voltage conductive surface. So what it's going to do, it's going to rob the electrons from the air, and this is going to be like a half capacitor where it accumulates the opposite charge. But over here with the AC...
What do you call that, where the paper is attracting to it, the half capacitor? What do you call that?
That is a high positive charge. But notice it's getting weaker because it's accumulating the opposite charge on the surface.
Is it using AC or DC?
DC. This is DC.
Okay.
All right. It's getting weaker.
Yeah.
Okay. Now then, the same thing here. If the needle points are pushing a negative ion towards the positive rebalancer, they're going to coat the positive rebalancer with the opposite charge, just like what you saw here.
And rebalancer is just a term?
The rebalancer is the insulation around the opposite plate.
Okay.
This is the opposite plate here. This is the insulation around it. It's called a rebalancer, but known to confuse that with the collector of a triad, triode. Okay. Now then,
don't confuse it with a collector of a triode.
A vacuum tube triode.
Okay, not the same thing.
You have the emitter, the grid, and the collector.
Okay.
If you coat the collector, the electrons cannot enter into the collector. It coats the collector like it did here.
Okay.
All right. So this is coated with the opposite charge, but remember this is AC. So then the opposite charge here permits the opposite wave of ions to be neutralized, and this will result in this happening. This is turned out. Oh, this could be. Oh, I don't have it connected.
You must connect your inventions.
Yeah.
You gotta be careful. Whoa, watch out.
Okay.
You gotta be careful. Whoa, watch out.
Okay. That's what happens.
Yeah, you almost got your ass zapped. You almost got your ass zapped.
So then there's a big difference here, isn't there? If I'm using AC, on the surface charge, it gets expelled and substituted with the opposite charge 50 times a second. Well, 50 times a second results in this.
Oh, you can smell the ozone.
Yeah, that's the result.
Where's the ozone smell coming from?
Because I'm ionizing the air that's going to the opposite charge.
You said that kills viruses and stuff?
Yeah, it kills bugs. Viruses, germs.
Is it coming from your AC or DC?
It comes, the ions here supersonic.
Wow.
They're colliding with molecules in the atmosphere with such intensity that it ionizes the gas in the air.
Oh, that's a nice smell, like from after a thunderstorm.
Yeah, it's very sanitizing. There you go.
Wow.
Okay. Now that's the difference between that and this. This is DC here.
Okay.
You see how weak it's got.
Yeah.
All right. Now what if I turn it off? It's going to expel the charges on the accumulated.
Yeah.
And it gets
no longer sticks.
This happens real fast because you have these wave of negative ions followed by positive ions 50 times a second. Now that if you look at this thing right here, you see poor craftsmanship. The needle points are not exactly the same distance from the repulsor, and therefore only a few needle points are actually generating the thrust. The ones that are further in are just sitting there doing nothing.
Yeah.
So then what actually generates the thrust is maybe a dozen of needle points. The others are, for not being precisely the same distance away, are doing nothing. But the few that are generating thrust is generating a powerful amount of thrust.
Okay.
Okay, that's it. Coated with insulation. All right, the electrons are attracted towards the grid, but the plate is not like this with the electrons going this way. It's this way, so it bounces off.
That's what you mean by debulser.
It bounces. The gas hits the plate that facing like this and bounces off and continues to go down without losing its kinetic energy.
Okay, do a short summary again. I accidentally pressed off. That's a triad.
This is a triac.
Okay, triac. Okay.
Triac. Okay, vacuum tube triac. In a vacuum tube, only the electrons leave the metal and is attracted through the grid towards the collector, and then the electrons collide with the collector, and goes into the metal itself, and makes a return. Okay, what happens is the repulsor is the collector, coated, where the electrons cannot enter into the metal itself, but accumulate on the surface. But the repulsor is not faced like a wall, it's faced like this. And that way the gas bounces off the repulsor, continues downward. But because it is AC, you have positive ions followed by negative ions, positive ions 50 times a second. And the surface charge neutralizes the ion charge passing is down. And so you have this continuous acceleration that causes the thing to generate a continuous sustained thrust.
Wow, okay.
Okay. That's it. The emitter emits the electrons. The grid is a forward bias. It's accelerated to the grid, but because the grid has holes, it passes through to the collector. It crashes against the collector, the electrons, and it goes into the
agosto 2001. Il volo 236.
And the military stepped in order to preserve the country's integrity. And the military had not put themselves in a position of running the country. And we know in the past, when the military were actually running the country, they ceded power voluntarily. So basically what we're seeing is a continuation of the Egyptian revolution.
If I'm not mistaken, sir, they didn't cede power voluntarily. In fact, President Morsi put them back into their barracks, and that was met by huge demonstrations of popular support amongst the people. The question, I suppose, is, what do you expect the reaction from the United States? You are Egypt's ambassador to Washington. What do you expect the reaction to be from the U.S., which is a democracy and have hailed the first democratic election?
Tornare indietro, non scoppiavano voi, erano spazi sicuri. 3 milioni non studiano più, è devastato, sfollato.
Everyone is using Russian weapons. The line of Russian tanks means nothing because we don't have the information to tell us where it came from as to whether Russia has troops on its border. If it's inside its border, we're witnesses of the fact. We got arrested in Mexico and the U.S. We'd be sure we have a military presence there to make sure our border was secure.
Kiev crying foul over an alleged invasion by Russia has sparked a storm of civil.
They could not see the end of the crowd. The biggest protest of its kind in ages heard in May. Million men march.
Well, Michael Brown's killing by police took the whole of the U.S. Other hundreds of watching the Hawks, Terrell Ventura, and Pamela Wallace asking Georgetown University professor Chris Chambers if anything has changed in Iran. La prossima società segreta ha addirittura cercato di assicurarsi il futuro nascondendo la verità. I cavalieri del circolo d'oro. I cavalieri del circolo d'oro sono un leggendario gruppo di soldati confederati che dopo essere stati sconfitti giurano di riscattare il sud. In cui loro stessi sono nati. Il marinaio Dave Flanders si è arrampicato a 15 metri d'altezza sulla struttura portante e ha sistemato il gancio prima che qualcuno potesse ferirsi anche mortalmente.
Sì, da terra non sembra granché, ma da lassù è una bella altezza.
What this demonstrates is that all the can be in parallel, and all the rebalances can be in parallel, and it'll work.
And that's a spiral shape.
Yeah, it's a spiral shape. Well, it's concentric circles, but it can be spiral. And the idea is that you can concentrate in a small volume the rebalancers and emitters, so that the engine becomes, the motor becomes even more powerful because it doesn't have to be big like that. It can be compressed to a smaller volume and generate a big surge. That's it.
Go.
All right, what?
Successo esercitata dalla
severity, but you're right to suffer a second by something that prevents children in pain alongside children. So
And you also had to deal with the whole thing.
The frying egg noise you're about to hear is the sound of AC ions in waves breaking the sound barrier in the distance between here and here.
well, he desperately wants to perform. He really needs to get a good lead if he's going to win this thing, because he's not been in this position before where he's had a lead in a major championship of this magnitude. He's led and he's been in the co-leading position at the Masters and such like in the past, and it hasn't really happened for him. He desperately wants to get that first major. And he seems alongside time as well. Yes, and he's doing the right things at the moment. So he's got the support. It's just incredible, the atmosphere around here at the moment. To watch Woods and Westwood walk just past us, you can feel the atmosphere, you can feel the tennis.
That's real neat. Yeah, it even changes color. Look at that. Huh. Why is it pink at extreme frequencies?
On extreme frequencies,
Then it turns blue when you turn it down.
the expands, more energy expands the arc diameter.
Oh,
That's it.
okay.
Ma anche persone con una disabilità magari temporanea, perché hanno delle stampelle, per mamme e papà con passeggini che non riescono a portare i loro figli all'ingresso della stazione e a farli accedere ai treni. È
Ogni giorno più di 1100 aeroplani transitano sulle sue 4 piste. Oggi uno di essi è il volo 255 della Northwest Airlines, diretto a Phoenix, in Arizona. Ai comandi c'è il capitano John Mouse, originario.
Once you have a military presence there, especially in a situation in Iraq, when the presence of America is going to be like honey from the jihadi bees, maybe attempting to attack an American base.
C'è un delitto di calcio e quindi indubbiamente il prodotto produttore ha un interesse a coprire reciprocamente la propria attività. Quindi le intercettazioni credo sia uno strumento essenziale per rompere questo connubio tra prodotto e produttore e fare emergere il fenomeno. Così un'altra cosa molto importante è questo whistleblowing, questa nuova normativa.
All'alba del 12 aprile del 1862, gli uomini prendono il treno di attraversione in tempo. E aspettano. La loro opportunità arriva alla fermata di Big Shanty. Questa struttura primitiva permette loro di compiere un'altra rivoluzione.
Poco dopo l'estinzione dei dinosauri, gruppi carnivori e mammiferi iniziarono ad evolversi e diversificarsi. Avevano denti affilati per sbranare la carne e terribili artigli sulle zampe anteriori e posteriori. Questi mammiferi avevano un grande vantaggio.
Lo sai cosa c'è? Senti. Ricominciamo da capo. No, grazie per le tre di questa.
Ok, ecco perché mi serve lo psichiatra.
Non mi serve lo psichiatra. Ci vado solo perché voglio che ti faccia tornare al lavoro.
Non c'è nessuna offesa.
Non voglio che ti parli tutto il merito dell'alveare.
L'azione alveare è ancora in alto mare.
Sì, ci sono novità.
Tentativo.
Tiberio sa che questi cittadini contadini confondono gli anni dell'esercito romano. Molti sono via a combattere in campagne durante mesi o addirittura anni. Ma nota anche qualcosa di molto più sinistro: l'assenza di soldati veterani tornati dalle guerre. Le terre che questi
i vari casi.
C'era un gruppo che mi ringhiava nell'orecchio, mi sentivo il fiato sulla tavola, ma non potevo vedere cosa succedeva.
Diana è il capobranco.
That even exceeds what the budget criteria has been put in place by the Commission. And with Germany, the country, the so-called powerhouse of the region, can no longer steer it.
Images on the news, but in the end it's very far away and it's kind of, as the media often, it's masses somehow.
Social life on our society. While one part of the population is getting richer, we're seeing poverty level.